down in the basement of Ray's Records, where the dollar bins hold history. Yeah. Fingers black from flipping through forgotten cardboard sleeves, searching for that sample that nobody else believes is hiding in a gospel record from 1963. Some choir singing freedom songs that's speaking directly to me. I'm hunting for the break, for the horn stab, for the loop that'll make a generation nod their head and stomp their boots. Ray's been watching me for hours, knows I'm on a mission. Says, young blood, you remind me of Premier on his Vision Quest back in '89. Digging through my stock, finding James Brown records that the funkheads overlook. I pulled the blue note, pressing original, not a reissue. Ray smiles, says that's Horace Silver, son. I'm glad I kept a few. 75 cents for a record worth 200 minimum. But Ray don't care about the value, he just wants the vision. And these records to continue to be sampled and reborn into something new, but rooted in the culture that was worn by generations before us who was singing through oppression. Yeah. Milk Crate Chronicles, vinyl archaeology, digging through the past to build a future prophecy. Every scratch and pop's a story that somebody lived. Milk Crate Chronicles, this is how we give life to forgotten voices, bring the ancestors back. Through dusty samples chopped up on the MPC track. Life to forgotten voices, bring the ancestors back. Through dusty samples chopped up on the MPC track. There's a science to the digging that the young heads don't respect. They looking for the obvious, the records you'd expect to find already sampled on 100 different tracks. I'm looking for obscurity, the albums in the back that nobody remembers, that the internet don't list. Where the magic's in the B-side, where the drummers really twist the rhythm into something that defies a common time, where the bass line moves in ways that redefine the paradigm you thought was possible on 4-string instruments. I found a Latin jazz record, all the rhythms intricate, recursive so complex it sounds like 3 drummers at once. I'm already hearing how I chop it, how I stunt with the sample, flip it backwards, pitch it down a couple steps, layer it with strings from another crate I checked yesterday. That's how you build a beat that's truly unique, not recycling the common but exploring the mystique. Yeah. Milk Crate Chronicles, vinyl archaeology, digging through the past to build a future's prophecy. Every scratch and pop's a story that somebody lived. Milk Crate Chronicles, this is how we give life. Milk forgotten voices, bring the ancestors back. Through dusty samples chopped up on the MPC track. Life to forgotten voices, bring the ancestors back. Through dusty samples chopped up on the MPC track. Met another digger in the soul section, older cat, he's holding Midas records and some stacks. We start to chat about our favorite producers, favorite samples, favorite finds. Turns out he's been collecting since before I was alive. He tells me about record stores that don't exist no more, how we used to cop imports shipped directly from the source in Brazil and Africa, in places that press vinyl with music so authentic it will make your spirit spiral into higher consciousness. He's preaching out for real, says these records are our history. They document the feel of moments that we'll never get to witness with our eyes, but we can hear the truth in every note and never lies. He pulls a record out his bag, says, here, take this for free. It's Donald Byrd, Blackbird album, 1973. That's when jazz and funk combine to birth what we now do. Keep digging, young brother, there's a universe for you to explore in these crates. Just remember to respect the artists who created all the sounds that we collect. Yeah. Sunday afternoon, the spot is closing, Ray's counting cash. I found 30 records, spent my whole week's check, no stash. Left over, but I'm richer than I was when I came in. These records are investments in my craft, my discipline to create something timeless, something rooted in the past. Before we think of futuristic, built to last. Beyond the trends and algorithms, beyond the streaming age. These vinyl circles hold the secrets written on each page. Of grooves that spiral inward to the center of the disc, where all the information lives, where all the magic is. Encoded in vibrations that a needle can translate into sound waves that remind us why this culture is so great. It's built on preservation, on respecting what came first, on digging through the crates to quench our never-ending thirst for knowledge, for connection, for that feeling in your chest when you find that perfect sample that brings out your very best. And Ray locks the door behind me, bag full of vinyl, head full of possibilities. Next Sunday I'll be back. Yeah. Never ending story. Yeah. Never ending story. Yeah. Tuesday night at the spin cycle, where everyone's guard comes down while they wait. Love. Folding clothes at table 3, watching lives unfold around me. Single mother with 4 kids, trying to stretch with little money she got left after she paid rent and bought groceries. Her oldest helping with the little ones, maturity beyond his years. You see, he can't be more than 12, but he's acting like a man, holding down responsibilities most adults don't understand. She catches me observing, smiles tired but genuine, says they good kids, just trying to make it. You know how it's been for folks like us, working doubles just to barely get by. But we survive, we more than survive, we find reasons to try. One more day, one more week, one more month, one more year. Her strength is in her eyes, despite the obvious fear of what tomorrow holds. She's present with her children now, teaching them to be resilient, showing them exactly how to face adversity with grace, with dignity intact. That's a lesson you can't learn from any book, that's a fact, yeah.
Laundromat lesson, wisdom in a spin. Learn about life from the people deep within the struggle, but they rising, but they shining through. Laundromat lessons. This is church, this is true.
Yeah, yeah. Old man in the corner reading newspaper front to back. Same routine every Tuesday, same laundry, same exact. Washing sequence, rinse and spin, he got it down to science. I asked him once why Tuesdays, he said that's when there's silence. Enough to hear my thoughts, enough to process my week. Enough to just exist without demands, without critique from bosses, family, society. Expectations weighing heavy on my shoulders every other day. I'm saying this laundromat's my temple, my meditation space, where I could just be human, where I don't have to race against some clocks, some deadlines, some impossible standard, where the only thing required is quarters and some candor with myself about myself, my choices and mistakes, the past I didn't take, the hearts I managed to break when I was younger, stupider, more focused on myself. He's getting deep now, pulling wisdom off the shelf, yeah.
Laundromat lessons, wisdom in the spin. Learn about life from the people deep within the struggle, but they rising, but they shining through. Laundromat lessons, yeah. This is church, this is true.
Yeah. College girl with textbooks studying between the cycles. Organic chemistry is something vital to her future plans. She's working toward a better life through education, dedication, sacrifice of sleep and social life, and everything appears in joy. She's here because the dorm machines are broken, can't avoid the trek across 3 bus lines to the spot, but she don't mind. Says the journey gives her time to process what she finds in lectures, in her reading, in the world she's understanding through academic lenses, through the knowledge she's expanding. Every semester she's first generation college bound. Her parents never graduated high school, but they found a way to push her forward, to believe that she could be more than what the neighborhood expected her to be. She's carrying their dreams along with loads of laundry, living proof that change is possible through consistency, yeah. Young couple have an argument in Spanish by machine 8, about money, about family, about the weight of decisions that they're facing. Should they stay here or return to Puerto Rico, where the cost of living's lower, where they yearn to be sometimes away from winter cold and city pressure. But opportunities are here, it's complicated measure between comfort and ambition, between roots and reaching higher. They resolving it through dialogue, through passion, through the fire of love that's evident despite the disagreement. They'll figure it out together, that's the beauty of commitment. I'm learning just by watching all these different lives converge in this fluorescent space, with a mundane and profound merge into lessons about living, about struggle, about grace, about finding sacred moments in the most unlikely place, like a laundromat on Tuesday night where everybody's equal in the eyes of dirty laundry and the struggle sequel, yeah. Pack my bag and head into the night, cleaner than I came, and not just my clothes. Laundromat lessons. Every Tuesday, church is in session.
Laundromat lessons. Laundromat lessons. Laundromat lessons.
Before text message, before voicemail, when you had to say it all in one call, from a payphone on the corner. Quarter in a slot, dialing numbers from my memory. No phone book, no contacts, just pure mental inventory of digits that connected me to people that I love. Before we all got cell phones and the calls got interrupted by bad reception, by distractions, by the luxury of later. Now it's urgent, you got 3 minutes, maybe appreciate her. For the operator cuts in, asking for more change. I'm talking to my moms from 3 states away. It's strange how distance makes you value every word, every second, every pause between the thoughts, every feeling that's expressed in real time with no filters, no ability to text it out and think about it first. You just say it and accept it. Might come out wrong, might be perfect, but it's honest. That's what's missing now, that urgency, that promise that this moment matters, cause we can't just call back casual. This is intentional connection, this is actual.
Payphone confessions when words really matter, when you couldn't hide behind screens all shattered, with emoji substitutes for feelings that you couldn't say. Payphone confessions, real talk, real way.
It's 1 a.m., I'm calling shorty from the club payphone, cause we got in an argument before I left home, and it's been eating at me all night. I can't even enjoy the music or the moment, guilt's destroying my poise. She picks up on the second ring, voice still hurt and angry. I apologize sincerely, tell her how she completes me, how I was wrong, how I was stubborn, how I took for granted all the love she gives me daily, how I should've manned up earlier instead of letting pride create the distance. Now I'm shouting over music, hoping she could listen through the noise, through the hurt, through the wall she put up to protect herself from me when I messed up. She's crying now, I hear it in her breathing pattern, tells me she was scared I wouldn't call, scared I let it shatter what we built together over years of growing closer. I tell her I'm coming home right now, night's over.
Payphone confessions when words really matter, when you couldn't hide behind screens all shadowed, with emoji substitutes for feelings that you couldn't say. Payphone confessions, real talk, real way. Real talk, real way.
Different night, different phone, this time calling my pops. First time we really talked since he moved out when I was lost in adolescence. Angry at him for abandoning the family. Now I'm older, understanding life ain't working out exactly how you plan it, how you hope it, how you promise when you're young. He's remarried, got stepkids, trying to repair what came undone between us through the years of silence, years of resentment, years of missing moments that we both wish we'd invested in rebuilding what was broken, in forgiveness and moving forward. I'm nervous, he sounds nervous, both of us awkward, but we pushing through discomfort to get to something real, to express emotions that men are taught they shouldn't feel or share. But we both tired of pretending we don't care about the relationship we lost, about the weight we bear, regretting missed opportunities, a father-son connection, severed but not dead, just dormant waiting for direction. Last call of the night, payphone outside the hospital, my grandmother's dying, family gathered in the hall outside the room, but I'm 300 miles away at school, couldn't get a flight in time. Feeling like a fool for prioritizing exams over family emergency. I'm talking to my uncle, he's holding phone up to her ear gently. I tell her that I love her, that she's everything to me, that every lesson that she taught me lives in me eternally. About resilience, about faith, about loving unconditionally, about cooking from the soul, about family intentionally gathering together, about stories passed down generational, about roots and wings, about making choices no, she can't respond, but uncle says her eyes open wide when she heard my voice, said she smiled before she died. 5 minutes later, I'm standing at this payphone, numb quarters in my hand, no one left the call, mission done, but incomplete. I'm crying in the open on the street corner. It's payphone, boost confessional, I'm just a mourner, saying goodbye through telephone wires to the past, knowing that these moments were too precious, not the last.
They tore down all the payphones, progress they called it, but something sacred was lost. Those urgent conversations, when you had to say it all, right then, right there. Payphone confessions, gone but remember. Gone but remember. Gone but remember. Gone but remember.
Yeah. Tuesday night at the spin cycle, where everyone's guard comes down while they wait. Love. Folding clothes at table 3, watching lives unfold around me. Single mother with 4 kids, trying to stretch with little money she got left after she paid rent and bought groceries. Her oldest helping with the little ones, maturity beyond his years. You see, he can't be more than 12, but he's acting like a man, holding down responsibilities most adults don't understand. She catches me observing, smiles tired but genuine, says they good kids, just trying to make it. You know how it's been for folks like us, working doubles just to barely get by. But we survive, we more than survive, we find reasons to try. One more day, one more week, one more month, one more year. Her strength is in her eyes, despite the obvious fear of what tomorrow holds. She's present with her children now, teaching them to be resilient, showing them exactly how to face adversity with grace, with dignity intact. That's a lesson you can't learn from any book, that's a fact, yeah.
Laundromat lesson, wisdom in a spin. Learn about life from the people deep within the struggle, but they rising, but they shining through. Laundromat lessons. This is church, this is true.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Old man in the corner reading newspaper front to back. Same routine every Tuesday, same laundry, same exact. Washing sequence, rinse and spin, he got it down to science. I asked him once why Tuesdays, he said that's when there's silence. Enough to hear my thoughts, enough to process my week. Enough to just exist without demands, without critique from bosses, family, society. Expectations weighing heavy on my shoulders every other day. I'm saying this laundromat's my temple, my meditation space, where I could just be human, where I don't have to race against some clock, some deadline, some impossible standard, where the only thing required is quarters and some candor with myself about myself, my choices and mistakes, the past I didn't take, the hearts I managed to break when I was younger, stupider, more focused on myself. He's getting deep now, pulling wisdom off the shelf, yeah.
Laundromat lessons, wisdom in the spin. Learn about life from the people deep within the struggle, but they rising, but they shining through. Laundromat lessons, yeah. This is church, this is true.
Yeah, 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 yeah. College girl with textbooks studying between the cycles. Organic chemistry is something vital to her future plans. She's working toward a better life through education, dedication, sacrifice of sleep and social life, and everything appears in joy. She's here because the dorm machines are broken, can't avoid the trek across 3 bus lines to the spot, but she don't mind. Says the journey gives her time to process what she finds in lectures, in her reading, in the world she's understanding through academic lenses, through the knowledge she's expanding. Every semester she's first generation college bound. Her parents never graduated high school, but they found a way to push her forward, to believe that she could be more than what the neighborhood expected her to be. She's carrying their dreams along with loads of laundry, living proof that change is possible through consistency, yeah. Young couple have an argument in Spanish by machine 8, about money, about family, about the weight of decisions that they're facing. Should they stay here or return to Puerto Rico, where the cost of living's lower, where they yearn to be sometimes away from winter cold and city pressure. But opportunities are here, it's complicated measure between comfort and ambition, between roots and reaching higher. They resolving it through dialogue, through passion, through the fire of love that's evident despite the disagreement. They'll figure it out together, that's the beauty of commitment. I'm learning just by watching all these different lives converge in this fluorescent space, with a mundane and profound merge into lessons about living, about struggle, about grace, about finding sacred moments in the most unlikely place, like a laundromat on Tuesday night where everybody's equal in the eyes of dirty laundry and the struggle sequel, yeah, yeah. Pack my bag and head into the night, cleaner than I came, and not just my clothes. Laundromat lessons. Every Tuesday, church is in session. His name is Bodega. Been living in this corner store since '92. And he knows something we forgot.
Bodega cat sitting in the window watching traffic flow. Been observing him for years, and here's what I know. He never rushing nowhere, never stressed about tomorrow. Never chasing what he can't catch, never drowning in his sorrow. Just existing present moment, tail flicking at the flies. Content with his domain, with his routine, with his size. A world which ain't much bigger than these four walls in a back room. But he's mastered his environment, found peace inside this vacuum of the chaos that surrounds us in the city every day. While we're running, while we're grinding, while we're finding ways to pay for lifestyles we can't afford, for dreams we ain't achieved yet. Bodega watching, unbothered, all his basic needs are met. Food, water, shelter, sunshine through the window where he sits. Occasionally some pets, some customers, and that's it. That's all he needs to thrive, to be content to just exist, while we complicating life with every item on our list. Bodega cat wisdom, teaching me to slow. You don't need to chase everything, sometimes let it go. Find your sunny spot, your window on the world. Bodega cat wisdom, watch the chaos swirl, but don't get caught up in it. Just observe and breathe. Bodega cat wisdom, everything you need, you need. I watched him handle disrespect from customers with grace. Some kid tried to pull his tail, he just moved a different space. No retaliation, no aggression, just remove himself from threat. That's a lesson in itself. Protect your peace, don't get upset by people who don't understand your value or your worth. He knows who he is, been confidence since birth. Or maybe learned it over years of living in the store, where some folks show him love and others try to treat him poor. He don't internalize the negativity or hate, just maintains his boundaries, keeps his energy a state of equilibrium, of balance, of neutral observation. No need to prove himself to anyone, no desperation for validation from the masses, from the people passing through. He's got his regulars who love him, that's a selected few, who understand his nature, who respect his sovereignty. That's the wisdom right there, quality not quantity. Bodega cat wisdom, teaching me to slow. You don't need to chase everything, sometimes let it go. Find your sunny spot, your window on the world. Bodega cat wisdom, watch the chaos swirl, but don't get caught up in it. Just observe and breathe. Bodega cat wisdom, everything you need, you need. Yeah. Morning routine, he stretches like he's doing yoga poses. Deliberate, intentional, his body diagnosis. For any pain, attention, works it out before he starts. His day is sitting, watching, playing intermittent parts in the bodega ecosystem, catching mice when they appear, but mostly just existing as the spirit of was here. This corner store that's been around for 30-something years, through recessions, through gentrification, through neighborhood fears of change and displacement. Bodega's been the constant, the familiar face that makes you feel the block's not forgotten. Its history, its culture, its identity remains as long as Bodega sitting in that window frame. Unbothered by the condos rising up across the street, by the coffee shop that charges $7, can't compete with the Bodega coffee, $1.50 in a cup. And Bodega in the window, never giving up his spot. Late night store about to close, Bodega getting fed by Mr. Kim, who's on the spot since before my mom was wed. They got a ritual, a bond that transcends species difference. Kim talks him in Korean, Bodega shows indifference, but affectionate indifference, if that makes sense to you. Like he's listening, but also knows he's got better things to do than worry about human problems, human stress, human complaints. Kim laughing says, you right, Bodega, I should practice more restraint in my reactions to the daily difficulties I face. You've been teaching me for 20 years to operate with grace. I'm standing there just watching this exchange between a man and cat, realizing at this moment something grand in this simplicity. It's purity, it's mutual respect between two beings sharing space, both their roles perfect in the ecosystem of this corner, of this block, of this life, where Bodega cat's a teacher and we're students in the strife. Bodega curls up for the night, Bodega in his bed behind the counter. Bodega, another day of teaching finished. Bodega, another day of being present. Bodega, while we all rush past. Bodega, Bodega cat wisdom. Bodega, simple, profane, right there in the window if we just slow down enough to see. 3 a.m. under the bridge, painting my brother's name, and letters 10 feet tall, so the city never forgets.
Can the cry line in my hand, black outline taking shape of letters that's but Junior, my best friend who couldn't escape the violence of the streets, a cycle that we born into. Caught a bullet meant for someone else, now I'm mourning through this art, this ritual, this illegal memorial on a wall beneath the highway. Something territorial about claiming space for grief, for memory, for tribute to a life that mattered more than headlines would attribute to another statistic. Another young black male who became a number in the system, just another tale of wasted potential, love a future interrupted. But he was more than that, and I refuse to let corrupted media narratives define who he was to us, to his mother, to his girl, to the homies he would trust. Where everything is dreams of opening a restaurant, his laughter filled the room, his heart that was abundant.
Graffiti eulogy written on the wall for everyone who's fallen, standing 10 feet tall, and letters that won't fade and colors that won't die. Graffiti eulogy, permanent goodbye to bodies, but the memory lives in spray paint. Graffiti eulogy for every fallen saint.
Silver for the highlights, white for the dimension, red for the bloody shed, for the painful intersection of wrong place, wrong time, wrong world for young black kings who trying to just survive, but the streets got other things in mind for them, for us. I'm feeling in the letters, remembering the times we shared, the dreams we had, the pressure we was under, trying to make it out of circumstances that was designed to trap us, limit our advances. Past the block we grew up on, past the life we knew, but Junior had a vision, had a plan, had a crew of brothers who believed in them, supported every move. Now we're here at 3 a.m. with nothing left to prove, except that he existed, that he mattered, that he loved, that he was somebody's son, that he rose above the stereotypes and labels, that he was working towards something better for himself before his life was flawed.
Graffiti eulogy written on the wall for everyone who's fallen, standing 10 feet tall, and letters that won't fade and colors that won't die. Graffiti eulogy, permanent goodbye to bodies, but the memory lives in spray paint. Graffiti eulogy for every fallen saint.
Background now, the city skyline silhouette in blue. Junior always said he'd make it, said his dreams would come true. Against the odds, against the hate, against the system's designed to keep us contained, to keep us down, to keep us in line. So I'm painting the skyline behind his name in tribute to the dreams he didn't get to realize the route. He didn't get to take the restaurant, or never open, but his name will be immortal, that's my way of coping with the loss, with the void, with the empty space he left in my life, and his family's life, in the projects where we slept as kids, where we grew up, where we learned to navigate the dangers and the beauty both, where we would contemplate our futures while sitting on the roof, watching stars, trying to see beyond the street lights, in the prison bars that invisible surround us from birth, but we was fighting. Now I'm fighting through the tears, through my hands that keep writing his name in letters that'll last longer than our lives. Sun's coming up, pieces almost done, stepping back to view. The memorial I created representing all he knew and all he wanted, all he was. Captured in his art that the city will eventually buff, but it's a start of keeping his memory alive, of refusing to forget, of saying his name out loud, of refusing to accept that he's just another statistic, just another kid who died too young, who had too much left to live. The background's done, the highlights catch the morning light just right. Junior's name is glowing like a beacon through the night, in the day, in the memory, into eternity. This graffiti eulogy's my promise, my sincerity, and honoring his life, his death is everything between. This wall beneath the highways now a permanent scene, where his name will live in spray paint, where the homies come to mourn, where his mother comes to cry, where his memories reborn. Every time someone sees it, reads it, understands that Junior was a person, not just blood upon the sands. They'll buff it eventually, the city always does, but I'll paint it again, and again and again, until these hands can't hold a can no more. Graffiti eulogy for Junior and all the ones we lost, the streets that don't love us back. Rest in power, my brother, your name lives forever.
Inhale, exhale, pack train,
8 a.m. Finding peace in chaos. This is practice. Shoulder to shoulder with strangers, breathing recycled air, but I'm centered in my body. Focused on the care I'm giving to my lungs, to the rhythm of my breath. Everything else I could wait, including life and death, and stress and working bills, and everything competing for attention in my mind. But I'm just being present with the moment, with the swaying of the train, with the pressure on my feet, with the view outside the frame of window next to me. Buildings passing in a blur, like thoughts I'm learning to observe, without the stir of reaction, of attachment, of the need to engage. Every stimulus that's thrown at me on this commuter stage, where everyone's performing stress, performing exhaustion, performing disconnection. But I'm choosing a different option, to exist within the chaos without becoming it, to observe without absorbing. That's legitimate. Meditation practice even here, especially here. Rush hour meditation, finding calm in the storm. While the city's moving fast, I'm staying warm, in my center, in my breath, in the present moment. Rush hour meditation, this is my atonement for the times I let the chaos make me chaotic too. Rush hour meditation, starting fresh, starting new. Yeah. Guy next to me is cursing at his phone, at his boss, via email, via text, calculating the cost of speaking up, of quitting, of accepting disrespect for a paycheck that don't cover rent. I can detect his pain, his frustration, his desire to be free from the chains of employment that are choking him like me, like most of us on this train. But I'm choosing different now, to do my work with presence, with integrity somehow, maintain despite conditions, despite circumstances trying to pull me into patterns of surviving instead of thriving. He looks at me, I'm calm despite the chaos all around. He asks, how you so peaceful? I say, breath and solid ground beneath my feet. Even when it's swaying, even when it's crowded, I can always find my center deep within. He nods but seems confused, like peace is foreign concept in the context of the city of this morning's precept. Rush hour meditation, finding calm in the storm. While the city's moving fast, I'm staying warm, in my center, in my breath, in the present moment. Rush hour meditation, this is my atonement for the times I let the chaos make me chaotic too. Rush hour meditation, starting fresh, starting new. Train stops sudden, everyone lurches forward, gripping rails. Some people yell, some sigh, some check their phones for details about delays, about transfers, about alternative routes. I'm just breathing, just observing, just remaining absolute in my commitment to stay present, to not future trip, to not catastrophize something that's just a blip in the morning's journey, just a moment's interruption that don't require my stress, my worry, my corruption of peace I've cultivated through my practice over years of learning how to be still, even when fear tries to activate my nervous system, tries to pull me out of presence into panic. But I know what it's about. It's about control, or illusion of control we think we need, but really we just need to breathe, to plant a seed of awareness in each moment, let it grow into a practice of acceptance, of surrender, of releasing what we can't fix. Finally reaching my stop, stepping on a platform, ground surrounded by the rushing crowds. But I'm not bound to the pace, to the energy, to the anxiety. I'm moving with intention, with deliberate propriety in every step, every breath, every moment between this train ride and my destination. Keeping clean my energy, my peace, my hard-won equilibrium. It took me years to build, to find a medium between engagement and detachment, between caring and release, between surviving and thriving, between chaos and peace. This is my daily practice, my meditation in motion through the city's rushing waters. I'm finding my ocean of calm within the storm, the stillness and the speed of this heteropoda in existence, planting seeds of presence everywhere I go, hoping others see that peace is possible. Even here, even we can be free within the chaos if we just remember how to breathe, to be the witness without judgment here and now. Yeah. Rush hour meditation, not just for the train, but for the whole day. Every moment's an opportunity to practice presence, to choose peace, to just breathe and in and out. Rush hour meditation, every hour meditation. This is the practice. This is the path. Every building tells 1,000 stories, if you know how to listen. 3rd floor, apartment 3C, Mrs. Washington lives alone. Been there since before I was born, before gentrification's tone.
Changed the neighborhood from black to mixed to mostly white. But she's staying, she's remaining, she's holding on despite the pressure from developers who wanna buy her out. She tells me stories through the door when I'm checking up throughout the week. Her grandnephew asked me to, she's 90-something now. Voice still strong, mind still sharp. She's teaching me somehow about resilience, about roots, about refusing to be moved by money, by convenience, by society's approved method of existing, which is always moving, always new, always chasing something better. But she knows what's true is what's familiar, what's historical, what's held in these walls, these brownstone secrets, all the rises and the falls of families who lived here, loved here, died here too. She's the keeper of the stories that the new folks never knew. Brownstone secrets hidden behind historic walls. Every apartment holds a story, every hallway recalls moments that made history, that made this building home. Brownstone secrets in these stones, in these bones. Apartment 2A, young couple just moved in last week from Minnesota or Montana, somewhere where they seek adventure in the city. They're treating it like Disneyland, don't understand the weight, the history, the reprimand that's coming from the long-time residents who see them as invaders, gentrifiers, part of the modern jazz of displacement playing out in every Brooklyn neighborhood. Mrs. Washington tells me I don't think they understood what they're participating in by moving here right now. They're nice enough, but in a sense don't matter anyhow. When the effect is displacement, when the rents go up because of people like them willing to fill the cup. But landlords greed with money that the people who've been here for generations can't compete with, can't compare to the salaries they making in their tech jobs or whatever. They're the waving with a shore road and changing weather. Brownstone secrets hidden behind historic walls. Every apartment holds a story, every hallway recalls moments that made history, that made this building home. Brownstone secrets in these stones, in these bones. First floor, apartment 1B, that's where the jazz man lived in the 1950s, according to the stories that Mrs. Washington gives. He played with all the legends, Coltrane, Monk, and Miles. Would practice in his living room for hours playing styles that wouldn't be appreciated till decade after he was gone. Died broke but left a legacy in every note, every song that he recorded in his lifetime, which wasn't much but still. His spirit's in these walls, his sound, his skill. Sometimes late at night when the building's quiet still, Mrs. Washington swears she hears him practicing his drill of scales and arpeggios of phrases he was working through, with melodies that never made it to recording studios but live forever in the wood and plaster of this place. A brownstone secret musical ghost that you can trace through the history of the building, through the census records showing all the artists who resided here when culture was still growing organically in neighborhoods that nurtured it with space. Apartment 4D, top floor, that's where I'm staying now. Subletting from a friend who's out of town, and somehow I feel responsible for holding down these stories, for being temporary keeper of these brownstone glories. Mrs. Washington gave me a key to her apartment, said if something happens to me, make sure you're the one who's guarding the photo albums, the letters, the documents I've saved from decade of this building's life, the histories I brave, keeping safe from floods and fires and family members trying to throw away the past like it's garbage, like denying where we come from makes the present easier to bear. But I know better, I'm the keeper, I'm the one who's there to remind us that these walls have witnessed more than we can imagine in our limited contemporary understanding of what history means, what legacy requires. I promised her I would, that I protect from all the fires of forgetting, of erasing, of gentrifying away the memory of who lived here, who loved it, who would stay despite the difficulty, despite the pain, despite the world's insistence that moving on is more polite. Brownstone secrets in every building on this block, stories untold, stories forgotten, stories worth saving. Mrs. Washington knows she's been keeping them alive for decades now. Brownstone secrets, these walls remember everything, even when we forget.
Mr. Patel's been running this corner store for 23 years. I finally asked him how he makes it work. The math is fascinating.
25-cent profit on $1 Arizona. Multiply by 40, so per day that's $10 closer to breaking even on the rent. That's $4,000 a month, plus your utilities, insurance, inventory up front. Cost that most customers don't think about when they complain about the prices being higher than the way across town at the supermarket. But they don't calculate the cost of convenience, of proximity, the freight of having something local, having someone who knows your name, who let you slide on Tuesday when you're short, who plays the game of economics different than the corporate entities, who don't need your individual business. See, Mr. Patel needs every sale, every customer counts toward keeping lights on, keeping shelf stock. The amounts are thin, the margins razor. One slow week can break you. That's the mathematics of survival that don't make the textbooks. That ain't taught in business school, this is real. Corner store economics, calculating survival. Every penny matters when you're fighting for a rival. At the end of the month, with enough to pay the rent. Corner store economics, every dollar spent strategically, mathematically, desperately hoping that the neighborhood keeps coming, keeps the business going. Lottery commission pays him 5% per ticket. Sounds good until you calculate the time that he invests in selling them the machine maintenance, the paper, the transaction time that takes away from other sales. Subtraction of opportunity, but people want their numbers, so he provides a service even though it encumbers his efficiency. His workflow is optimal operations, but corner store economics requires accommodations to customer desires even when they don't make sense financially, because goodwill's worth more than cents in the long run. In the building of loyalty and trust that keeps customers returning, keeps the business from bust. He knows every regular by name, knows the usual orders, has it ready when they walk in. Those are the supporters who keep the lights on, who spread word when someone's looking for a place that's real, where the owner's still booking every sell himself, still working 16-hour days. Corner store economics, calculating survival. Every penny matters when you're fighting for arrival. At the end of the month, with enough to pay the rent. Corner store economics, every dollar spent strategically, mathematically, desperately hoping that the neighborhood keeps coming, keeps the business going. Supply chain broken down to me one day while stocking shelves. Mr. Patel teaching me the system, how it helps to understand the journey that a product makes from factory to distributor to wholesaler to him actually paying 3 times what the supermarket chains pay, cause he don't have the volume to negotiate the same way for prices, for terms, for the preferential treatment that big business gets. Small business refuses the movement to Amazon, toward online, toward the convenience that's killing local shops, toward algorithms that feed us exactly what we want before we know we want it, killing the discovery, the conversation, the human element, filling everything with efficiency but emptying the soul. A commerce, a community of the ultimate goal, which ain't just profit maximization, quarterly earnings, but sustainable existence, neighbor relationships, learnings about people, about culture, about more than transactions. He breaks down the rent increases over 20 years, from 1,200 to 4,000, fighting through the tears of frustration, of exhaustion, of wondering if it's worth it, if he should just retire, sell the store, close the curtain on this chapter of his life that's been his identity since immigrating here with dreams of opportunity. The American variety, which turned out to be more complicated, more difficult, more costly than he imagined back in '95 when he first opened the doors to this corner store that became more than store. It's the core of neighborhood commerce, a community gathering, a memories for people who grew up coming in chattering about their days, their lives, their problems and their joys, with Mr. Patel listening and sharing stories, employing just himself and his wife, no employees they can't afford. Corner store economics, every penny toward survival, toward legacy, toward proving it can work, despite the math that says small business shouldn't lurk in neighborhoods where big chains got advantages too great. But Mr. Patel's still here, still fighting, still debate about closing ends with staying with, continuing the mission. Corner store economics, mathematical precision of survival against odds that most would see as failure, but success ain't always profit. Sometimes it's just staying here.
The only free space left in the city, where you can exist for hours. without buying anything, without being asked to leave.
Yo. 7 years old, mama dropped me at the library. Said stay here till I'm off work, grade, be visionary. She was working doubles, couldn't afford no babysitter. Library became my second home, made me a transmitter of knowledge, of dreams, of worlds I couldn't access. Through my physical reality, my address was the projects, but my mind was traveling through pages of encyclopedias, learning things I never knew existed in the world beyond my neighborhood's borders. The library in mission, she became my sort of information, my guide through the Dewey Decimal System, teaching me that knowledge isn't criminal. You build it book by book, page by page. You learn to navigate the world through reading. That's your turn to access power, access freedom, access flight from circumstances through imaginations. My library card, passport, visa to everywhere, from the South Bronx to Paris, from the projects to somewhere dreams are documented, written down and waiting. Library card, passport, no debating. This is freedom, this is power, this is free. Library card, passport, that's the key. Library card, passport, hey, hey. Library card, passport, that's the key. Summer reading program, 1995 I read 40 books in 8 weeks, every word I fed into my hungry mind, my starving intellect. That school wasn't nurturing, wasn't trying to protect or develop, just containing, just babysitting kids until we old enough to work or go to bed. In prison system, but the library was different. It treated me like I mattered, like my interest in figment of fiction and facts, and everything between was valid, was important, was worthy to be seen and encouraged. Miss Chen would recommend books based on what I like before she paying attention, placing one more book in my hand every time I finish last one, building my literary foundation, having fun while learning about everything from Malcolm X to Mars, from Langston Hughes to galaxies and stars beyond our solar system, beyond my comprehension. Yeah. Library card, passport, visa to everywhere, from the South Bronx to Paris, from the projects to somewhere dreams are documented, written down and waiting. Library card, passport, no debating. This is freedom, this is power, this is free. Library card, passport, this is free. Library card, passport, yeah, yeah. Library card, passport, that's the key. Teenager now, library became my sanctuary from street drama, from the extraordinary violence of my neighborhood, the pressure to participate in hustling and gangbanging. But I'd rather sit and wait for new books to arrive, for new worlds to explore, through James Baldwin's essays, through Toni Morrison's lore about beloved in the bluest eye, seeing myself reflected in literature for the first time on the shelf, finding authors who looked like me, who knew my pain, who transformed struggle into art, into a gain of consciousness, of pride, of understanding that my story mattered, that my people's history was worthy of the glory that we rarely got in school, in media, and spaces that weren't ours. But library held traces of our brilliance, of our contributions, of our fight for freedom, for equality, for recognition of our right to exist with dignity, with complexity, with depth. Now I'm grown, I still return to library weekly, not because I can't afford books, but because I seek the feeling of that 7-year-old kid discovering the power of the written word, recovering my sense of wonder, my belief in possibility that got diminished by adult responsibility, by bills and stress and everything that tries to kill the imagination that the library helped build, in a fortress in my mind that can't be breached by poverty, by circumstance, by society's lottery of who gets access to education, the resources. The library's democratic, it endorses equal access, equal opportunity to learn, no matter what your income, what you earn or don't earn, no matter where you're from, what you wear. Library card, passport, get you everywhere in a world of ideas, of knowledge, of dreams that's more valuable than anything material, it seems. Miss Chen retired last year. She's 70-something now, but she still volunteers, teaching kids to read, passing on a passport. Library card to freedom, free 99. The best price in the city. Library card, passport, still valid, still powerful, still changing lives. Yeah, yeah, still changing lives.
Brother Elijah on the corner of 125th, megaphone in hand, Bible in the oven, teaching salvation and revolution in the same breath. Yeah. And the system is Babylon, he's shouting to the crowd. That's mostly walking past, some stopping, some bow. In prayer and agreement, hard to tell which. Brother Elijah's been on this corner preaching his pitch for spiritual awakening mixed with political consciousness. Since 1987, his message is bottomless. Deep well of knowledge pulled from scripture and from street experience. He's been homeless, been elite in the nation, been to prison, been to hell and back. Now we standing on this corner trying to get us on track toward liberation, toward salvation, toward understanding that the two are intertwined, they both demanding our attention, our commitment, our willingness to see that being free spiritually requires being free politically, economically, socially, mentally. He's preaching gospel that's intentionally radical, not the sanitized version churches sell. Yeah.
Sidewalk theology,
Church without walls,
preaching to the people,
answering the call,
spirits crying out for something real.
something true.
Sidewalk theology,
This is Sunday school
for the streets, for the struggle.
for the soul,
Sidewalk theology,
making broken whole.
spirits crying out for something real.
Something true.
Sidewalk theology.
You think Jesus was passive? Read your Bible closer. Brother Elijah's going in now, moving closer to the crowd is forming, growing, getting invested in his message and his passion and what he's manifested through decades of study, decades of devotion to understanding liberation through spiritual motion toward justice, toward righteousness, toward the kingdom that's not coming in the sky but must be built in the slump. The projects, the hood, the places where we live, that's where heaven must be created. We must give ourselves to this mission, this vision, this calling to transform our conditions, to stop falling for the lies that power preaches, that suffering's noble, that we should wait for heaven while they living in global mansions, living luxuriously off our labor, while we praying to a white Jesus, a false savior that looks nothing like us, that don't share our struggle. Yeah.
Sidewalk theology,
Church without walls,
preaching to the people,
answering the calls,
spirits crying out
for something real, something true.
Sidewalk theology,
This is Sunday school
for the streets, for the struggle.
for the soul,
Sidewalk theology,
making broken whole.
spirits crying out for
Something real, something true.
sidewalk theology.
Yeah. Young brother steps up, challenges his theology. Why should I believe in God when all I see is poverty and pain and police violence and my people suffering? Brother Elijah smiles, says, son, that's the buffering between you and understanding what God really is. Not some old man in the sky granting wishes, giving his blessings to the chosen, condemning the rest. God is in the struggle and I fight for what's best for our community. God is in the organizing, in the mutual aid, in the communal rising against oppression. God is in the love we show each other when the system trying to lay us low. God is saving us from struggle. God is in the struggle, empowering us to change conditions, the bubble up from bottom to the top through collective action. That's the gospel, that's the truth, that's the satisfaction of faith that's rooted in the soil of real life. Older woman starts testifying, talking about her strife with addiction, with abuse, with surviving the impossible. Brother Elijah listens, nods, his response is not doctrinal but human, empathetic, rooted in experience. He's been where she's been. His deliverance wasn't instant, wasn't magical, was daily commitment to healing, to growing, to making increments of progress towards wholeness, toward peace. He tells his sister, your testimony brings release. To others who've been suffering in silence and shame, your courage to speak truth is holy, is the flame that lights the path for others walking in the dark. Your survival is resistance, is a work of art that God is creating through you. You are divine, you are holy, you are worthy. You are the shrine where God dwells, not in buildings it's made of stone, but in bodies that have suffered, that have known the deepest pain and still chose to survive, to thrive. Brother Elijah's been on that corner every day for 30 years. Rain or shine, snow or heat, preaching sidewalk theology to whoever will listen. Church is in session, no collection plate, just truth, just love, just revolution, wrapped in scripture, sidewalk theology, the gospel according to the streets.
After the show, parking lot behind the venue. This is where reputations get made or destroyed.
Circle forms organically, beatboxer sets the rhythm. Somebody steps in first, the crowd's already with them. Feeling his energy, his confidence, his presence. But confidence ain't everything. You need the essence of skill, the wordplay, or the ability to freestyle. Off the top, no written, that's the meanwhile. Separating real MCs from studio artists who can't perform without their notebook. Who ain't the hardest in the moment, in the cipher, in the test of your ability to think quick, to manifest rhymes from nowhere, from the ether, from the zone, where only real MCs are comfortable alone with just the beat and the thoughts and the crowd's energy. Pushing them higher, making them the entity of pure hip-hop, unfiltered, unedited, uncut. First brother's going in, but he about to get shut down by the next man stepping up with murder on his mind.
Parking lot cypher, where egos come to die. Where you can't fake it, can't make it, can't rely on studio magic, on producers on the booth. Parking lot cypher, raw, uncut truth. Just you and the beat and your skill on display. Parking lot cypher, this is where we stay real. This is where we separate the wheat from chaff. Second brother steps in immediately attacking. First brother style, his flow, his image cracking. Jokes about his outfit, his chain, his claims of being the best in the city. Now everyone's seeing who got the sharper wit, the better metaphors, the cleaner delivery. Who understood the core of battle rap, which isn't just about being mean, but being clever, being quick, being the machine that processes information and spits it back as art. Is insults that are surgical, that they hit the mark without being generic, without being lazy. First brother stumbling now, looking crazy, trying to respond, but his comeback's weak. Second brother smells blood, goes for the peak of his attack, dismantling everything about first brother's entire persona, putting doubt in the crowd's mind about whether he should have stepped in first. Parking lot cypher, where egos come to die. Where you can't fake it, can't make it, can't rely on studio magic, on producers on the booth. Parking lot cypher, raw, uncut truth. Just you and the beat and your skill on display. Parking lot cypher, this is where we stay real. This is where we separate the wheat from chaff. Third MC enters, woman with a vicious pen. Everybody quiets down, respecting her again. Before she even starts, reputation precedes her. She's known for destroying egos. She's the leader of a crew. She's got placements, got respect from everyone who's real. She about to dissect second brother's entire style, pointing out that he's derivative, that his whole route through hip-hop has been copying other flows, others' metaphors, others' clothes, other shows of confidence that isn't earned but stolen. She's surgical, she's focused, she's wholly in the zone, in the moment, in the cypher's energy. She's feeding off the crowd but also lending energy back to them. This is symbiotic relationship between MC and audience. This is the spaceship that takes hip-hop to higher consciousness, to elevation. Now the cypher's open, people jumping in and out, some lasting 30 seconds before getting bounced by someone sharper, quicker, wittier, more skilled. This is Darwinism. This is getting killed and resurrected in the same breath, learning from your failure, from your ego burning in the fire of competition, of comparison to those who dedicated more time, whose garrison of skills is fortified through years of practice. This is where you learn humility, where your status don't matter, where your record deal, your views, your followers, your clout becomes irrelevant news. When you can't freestyle, can't think on your feet, can't survive in the cypher where only the elite of the truly skilled can thrive. Can't survive, this is hip-hop in its purest form, alive and uncompromising, unforgiving, unapologetic about its standard of what's authentic versus what's performative, what's real versus facade. Parking lot cypher is judge, jury, and god of hip-hop hierarchy, determining who's really nice and who's just good at marketing, rolling dice with their reputation every time they step inside the circle where there's nowhere left to hide. Cypher breaks up at 4 a.m. Everyone's hoarse, exhausted, elevated. Egos checked, skills tested. Respect earned or lost. This is the culture. This is the foundation. Parking lot cypher. Where real hip-hop lives, where it breathes, where it judges, where it crowns kings and queens, or humble pretenders. Same parking lot. Next week, bring your A game, or don't come at all.
4 a.m. in the emergency room. Been here for 6 hours. Still waiting. Still watching. Still learning. Man in the corner, coughing blood into his hands. Been waiting since 10 p.m. Nobody understands the urgency except him and the family surrounding. His wheelchair is pain, his life that's compounding. Issues that went untreated cause he couldn't afford To see a doctor regularly, couldn't afford the board. A preventive care that might have caught this earlier, before it became emergency, before it got scarier than it needed to be. But that's the system's design, keep people sick and desperate to make them wait in line for hours in this purgatory, between life and death, between attention and neglect, between breath and no breath. We all sitting here watching, triage nurses making judgments, watching who gets priority, who gets sent back to waiting room to suffer, to wonder if they'll lack the stamina to make it through the wait for treatment. Emergency room songs, prayers in the waiting for a system that's broken. For mercy we're waiting while people are dying, while pain's multiplying. Emergency room songs, testifying that healthcare is a privilege, not a right in this nation. Emergency room songs, documentation of suffering that's preventable, systematic. Emergency room songs, it's traumatic. Young mother with a baby, fever spiking dangerous, temperature 1 to 4, babies crying contagious. Is a panic, a fear, a desperation visible to everyone who's sitting here. It's risible that she's been waiting 3 hours with an infant who could be dying from something insignificant if treated early, but could be deadly if delayed. She's asking nurses every 10 minutes, she's afraid. They're getting annoyed with her maternal urgency. But this is life and death, this is the divergency between those who have insurance, who have money, who have power, and those who don't, who wait hour after hour in this fluorescent purgatory, in this space where human dignity gets erased by the pace of bureaucracy, of paperwork, of protocols that prioritize procedure over people that enthralls nobody but administrators who don't see the suffering. Emergency room songs, prayers in the waiting for a system that's broken. For mercy we're waiting while people are dying, while pain's multiplying. Emergency room songs, testifying that healthcare is a privilege, not a right in this nation. Emergency room songs, documentation of suffering that's preventable, systematic. Emergency room songs, it's traumatic. Old woman fell and broke her hip yesterday morning, waited at home till evening cause she was ignoring the pain. Couldn't afford the ambulance ride, couldn't afford the treatment, swallowed all her pride, and asked the granddaughter to bring her in finally. When pain became unbearable, when she couldn't see straight anymore from agony, from suffering that could have been addressed 12 hours earlier, discovering that now it's complicated, now it's worse than it should be. Now recovery will be longer, harder, wouldn't be this severe if she'd come immediately, but she couldn't afford to. That's the reality for millions of Americans who are rationing healthcare like it's a luxury, imagining that somehow they'll survive without intervention, without prevention, without attention to the medical needs. Security guard gets stabbed breaking up a fight outside the club where he was working, bleeding through the night, through his uniform, through the bandages the EMTs applied, waiting for treatment like everyone denied. The urgency that his situation seems to warrant, cause the gunshot victim just brought in takes precedence in triage calculations and priority determinations. He's stable enough to wait despite his lacerations, despite his pain, despite his risk of infection, despite everything that common sense and affection for human dignity would suggest should happen faster. But this is emergency room where disaster is so common that it's normalized with suffering. It's just part of the process where we're buffering between life and death, between care and neglect, between what should happen and what we can expect from a system that's designed to profit off of pain, to extract maximum value from each person's vein before it patches them up enough to send them back into the world that broke them in the first place. Lack of follow-up or prevention of comprehensive care. Emergency room songs, we're all gathered here and witness the systematic failure to the lie that healthcare is a right. We're just waiting to die or to be saved, whichever comes first in the queue.
Name finally called at 6 a.m. 7 hours waiting, 15 minutes of care that could have been avoided if the system worked. Emergency room song, prayers in the fluorescent light for everyone still waiting, for everyone who didn't make.
$23 till payday. Cart full of decisions, choosing between nutrition and full bellies. Standing in the aisle doing mental mathematics, calculating calories per dollar, a systematic approach to survival, to feeding my family. Carbs are cheapest, proteins are the enemy of my budget, of my ability to stretch these bills, to cover meals for 7 days. These are the skills they don't teach you in school, but you learn real quick. When you're choosing between chicken and rice, pick rice every time, cause it's bulk, cause it fills more bellies for less money, cause you gotta build meals around maximizing fullness over nutrition. That's the decision, that's the mission of poor people in America and grocery stores across the nation. We ignore the organic section, we ignore the fresh produce that costs more than we could justify when hungry kids are at the door of your consciousness, demanding to be fed tonight. Grocery store arithmetic, calculating survival. Every penny matters for the family's revival. From hunger, from the stress of empty refrigerators. Grocery store arithmetic, we're the calculators. A value of necessity of what we can't afford. Grocery store arithmetic, keeping score of what we give up to make ends barely meet. Yeah, yeah. Generic brands only, name brands a luxury for people with expendable income. Not us, we are clipping coupons, checking circulars for sales, comparing unit prices, making sure we fails to waste a single dollar on convenience or on brand recognition. We got strategies, we understand the science of survival, shopping we're experts in, stretching dollars further than they meant to extend. Bologna instead of turkey, margarine instead of butter, powder milk instead of fresh. We mother, father, feed our families on fractions of what's needed for healthy living. But healthy's been defeated by economic reality, by systematic poverty that makes nutritious food a luxury properly reserved for those who can't afford the premium prices. While we eating processed food, making sacrifices of our health for our survival, that's the contradiction. Grocery store arithmetic, calculating survival. Every penny matters for the family's revival. From hunger, from the stress of empty refrigerators. Grocery store arithmetic, we're the calculators. A value of necessity of what we can't afford. Grocery store arithmetic, keeping score of what we give up to make ends barely meet. Yeah. Kids want the cereal with the cartoon character. I'm redirecting them to store brand. It's harder to explain to a 5-year-old why we can't afford the extra $2 for the box they toured. Every time we're shopping, why their friends at school have Lunchables and chips while they got the cruel reality of government cheese sandwiches and fruit from the food bank. Trying to compute in their developing minds why their mamas always stressed in grocery stores, why we can't invest in brand names and convenience and the foods they advertise on TV during cartoons. I can see the question in their eyes that they don't ask, cause they already know somehow that money's tight, that we're struggling now. The sacrifice is part of our reality. That grocery store arithmetic is mentality we all forced to develop when we poor. Checkout line anxiety, watching numbers climb on the register screen. Praying this time I calculated correctly, that I didn't miscalculate any prices, any tax, or wait for the total. Holding my breath, holding my card, hoping it don't get declined. It's hard to maintain dignity when you're swiping EBT in front of people, judging what you eat, what you be. Purchase it with the tax dollars. Their eyes scanning my cart for luxury items, for banning of poor people small joys of the ice cream or chips that might be in there, that might trips. Their judgment of whether I deserve assistance, whether my poverty deserve existence. Without their commentary, without their stares, total comes to $22.50. I got 50 cents spared, thank God. Transaction approved, bag my groceries in reusable bags, cause the fee is costly when you're calculating every single penny. This is life for too many, this is plenty. People in the richest nation never known doing grocery store arithmetic. Unknown to those who never had to choose between medicine and food, between paying rent and eating. That's the reality that poverty creates. Grocery store arithmetic, calculating fates. Made it through another week, 7 days of meals, calculated budgeted stretch, $23, 7 people. Grocery store arithmetic, masterclass in survival, maybe. PhD in making nothing into something. This is life, this is America, for millions. Grocery store arithmetic. Same time next week.
Rooftop at golden hour, city painted in amber light. Another day survived, another day to write.
in the book of my existence. Another chapter closed, another opportunity to decompose the stress, the struggle, the weight I carry through the hours since sunrise, since I married myself again to the commitment of living another day with purpose, with thanksgiving for the small miracles that went unnoticed in the chaos of the day, the moment stolen by anxiety or hurried by the constant motion that prevents us from experiencing the ocean of grace that's always present, always flowing around us, through us. If we stop going long enough to feel it, to acknowledge that we made it through, that's knowledge we're celebrating, worth honoring with gratitude. Watching people on the streets below, rushing home to families, to solitude, to the unknown of evening hours. Each one carrying their story, their burdens, their triumphs, their territory of pain and joy that I'll never fully know. But in this light, in this glow of sunset, we're all connected, all human, all struggling, all doing what we doing to survive, to thrive, to find meaning in the mundane, in the cleaning up of daily messes, daily stresses, in the small progresses, the tiny yeses we give to life despite its difficulty. The sunset's teaching me humility about my place in this vast universe, where my problems ain't better or worse than anyone else's, just different expressions. Forgive myself for the mistakes I made today, for the patience I didn't have, for the things I didn't say that could've helped someone, could've healed something, for the moments I was selfish, for the bell I didn't ring when I had opportunity to make a difference, for the times I chose indifference over vigilance, over caring, over showing up for community. I release it to the sunset, let it leave me unburdened by the weight of imperfection. The sunset offers direction toward compassion for myself, for others, for the passion we all feel, but sometimes fail to manifest in action. In the daily test of being human, being flawed, being illuminated by the sun as it sets on another day of trying, of falling, of flying, of crying, of laughing, of everything between. Tomorrow's not promised, but tonight is certain. Drawing close the curtain on today's performance. Good or bad, it's done, it's in the past, and all things past, nothing's built to last except the love we share, the care we give, the memories we create, the way we live in moments that seem small but build a life worth living, worth surviving all the strife that tries to break us, that tries to take us from ourselves, that tries to make us forget that we're divine, that we're sacred, that we're worthy of the grace that's naked in its honesty, in its simplicity. The sunset's teaching me complicity with the universe's rhythm, with the flow of time that tells us when to go and when to stay, when to push and when to rest. Bless this day and all it held, the joy, the pain, the stories we told ourselves about who we are. Bless the distance and the stars that we're reaching for that seem so far, but maybe they're closer than we think. Bless the brink of night approaching. Bless the rest that we're encroaching on. Bless the sleep that will restore our bodies, minds, our souls once more. Bless tomorrow if it comes. Bless today for what it's done, to shape us, to make us, to break us into pieces that remake us stronger, wiser, more complete. Bless this rooftop, bless this street, bless this city, bless this view. Bless the me, bless the you, bless the we that we become when we remember we're all from the same source, returning to the same place eventually. So let's embrace this moment, this sunset, this peace. Skies turning purple now, stars starting to appear. Another day is ending, another night is here. I'll carry this peace down the stairs, back into the world where tomorrow's chaos waits to be unfurled. But tonight, right now, I'm grateful for this moment, for this playful of serenity, of clarity, of grace. For this sacred rooftop space where I can watch the sun go down, where I can release my frown and all the tension that I hold, where I can let my story be
told in silence, in reflection, in acceptance. In the sunset's benediction, it's sentence of peace upon my day, upon my life, upon my struggle, upon my strife. Tomorrow I'll fight again, I'll rise again, but tonight I rest. Tonight I'm zen, tonight I'm whole, tonight I'm free. Tonight the sunset blessing me.
Sunset benediction, giving and receive. Another day complete, another night to breathe, to rest, to restore, to prepare for more, but not yet. Right now, just this
Peace,
this grace,
this golden light fading
into blessed darkness.
Sunset benediction.